Payton is in the slot on the left side. And McMahon takes. He's back to throw. Sets up Jordan. He's the right side.
As the day wound down on Sunday, November 22nd, 1987, the greater Chicago area was in a fabulous mood. Earlier in the day, the Bears had pummeled the rival Detroit Lions by a score of 30-10, making them 8-2 on another awesome season. Plus, with Thanksgiving coming up that week, it was the beginning of the holidays. Yeah, it was a good day in Chicagoland. The weekend had been packed with crazy lines at the grocery stores while everyone did their last-minute shopping for Thanksgiving. At 9 p.m. local time, most Chicagoans were tuning in to the late evening news on WGN-TV, mainly to see the highlights of the Bears. The residents of Chicago had no idea that they were about to be a part of television history and witnessed the most bizarre federal crime that remains unsolved to this day. Remember, back in 1987, it was still considered an event to watch TV with the family on a Sunday night. To Americans, it was considered family night. At least, that's what the big television networks and Mutual of Omaha told us. The internet was still just an underground college network thing, so there were no shows to stream. Streaming still had something to do with using the bathroom. Of course, YouTube was still 22 years away. Unlike today, no one carried a little movie studio in their pocket. So pretty much everyone was gathered around the living room TV that night. At exactly 9:14 p.m., something very strange and kind of surreal interrupted WGN sports anchor Dan Roan as he described the Bears' victory over the Lions.
Hey! Who did that? What's going on?
Welcome to the Solve Crimes podcast, where we bring you the most perplexing, bizarre, and unsolved crime mysteries of all time. We present the most pertinent and up-to-date facts that, in all seriousness, may lead you to help solve a real crime mystery. Hey, it could happen. In this episode, we dive head first into the crazy-ass case of the Max Headroom broadcast signal intrusion that shocked Chicago, Illinois in 1987. This strange and audacious act of sheer piracy has puzzled investigators and technology enthusiasts for nearly 4 decades now. Was this the work of a tech-savvy savant prankster? Or was there a more sinister motive behind it? And how in the world did they manage to hijack the greater Chicago area airwaves not once, but twice in a single evening?
Someone using sophisticated equipment managed to briefly and illegally override broadcast signals on WGN-TV and WTTW. Both incidents are under investigation.
The first interruption occurred during WGN-TV's 9 p.m. news broadcast. Sports anchor Dan Roan was in the middle of his segment when suddenly the screen went blank.
2-yard line, and McMahon back to throw. Dumps it over the middle. Wide open McMahon. Cutting left to the 20, to the 15, to the 10, to the 5. Touchdown!
McMahon and McKinnon, 14-0 Bears. Then the defense, which hadn't put up a sack in 12 quarters, finally did.
Naturally, we've shortened the actual segment here. The black screen stayed on for nearly 10 seconds. It was then replaced by an eerie, oscillating background made of black and white lines. In front of that was the dancing figure of someone wearing a very creepy Max Headroom Halloween mask. The entire incident lasted just 28 seconds before normal programming resumed.
Well, if you're wondering what's happened, so am I. Actually, the computer that we have running our news from time to time took off and went wild. So what we're going to do is start over from the top of the Bears and tell you once again about the 30-10 victory they had over Detroit today out at Soldier Field.
While totally confused by what they'd just seen, viewers, along with the staff at WGN, simply thought it was, quite literally, a glitch in the programming. But that was just the beginning. WGN immediately began an internal investigation, but little did they know, the hijackers were far from finished with Chicago broadcasting. Just 2 hours later, at 11:15 p.m., the mysterious hijacker struck again. This time, the target was the broadcast of a Doctor Who episode called Horror of Fang Rock on WTTW, Chicago's PBS affiliate. Once again, the screen went dark, and viewers were greeted by the same creepy dancing Max Headroom figure, now in a new, even more disturbing scenario. The hijacker performed a series of bizarre and unsettling actions. Another difference from the first hijack was the fact that the person in the mask was now speaking.
You should talk often with the old ones of your tribe. That is the only way to learn.
I'll get you a hot drink, miss.
I've seen some dry clothing.
He's a freaking nerd. Just worse Oh,
You get the idea. I won't subject you to the full intrusion, as this one lasted a full 90 seconds before WTTW was able to regain control of the signal. While the audio makes it difficult to make out what is said, here are some of the statements. That does it. He's a frickin' nerd. That's one. Yeah, I think I'm better than Chuck Swirsky, frickin' liberal. Of course, they're referring to the Chicago Bulls play-by-play announcer. Here we go, yeah. The hijacker then holds up a Pepsi can. More on that reference coming up. Then says, "Catch the wave," and tosses the can at the camera. Again, I'll spare you the rest. It's mostly gibberish while seemingly filling time, no doubt surprised that the station hadn't kicked the hijacker offline yet. For the first time, it is clear that the person wearing the mask, at least in this second hijack, is likely a man, based on the voice, and when the hijacker bends over to show his bare ass. It's also the first time we see another person, most likely a woman. When she enters the screen, she starts spanking the first hijacker. The woman appears to be wearing some sort of sundress and a big floppy summer hat in the middle of a Chicago winter. In an instant, the hijackers are gone, and the Doctor Who episode resumes. WTTW was finally able to take control of the broadcasting, kicking the hijackers offline. Links to the actual hijack footage from that night are here in the description.
Of all the creatures in the cosmos, how come the moth is so stupid? Boy, you can't trust anyone in this business.
So what is the deal with that Max Headroom mask anyway? Well, if you were alive in the 80s, you knew very well what mask the hijacker was wearing. If you knew the character, you also probably felt that it was the perfect mask to wear when performing a glitchy television takeover. The best way to describe who Max Headroom was or is would be to let Matt Frewer, the actor who played Max, describe him for me.
Max Headroom was originally conceived to be a video jockey for Chrysalis Records to pump their artists abroad. And while I was in London, England, I auditioned for the role and got it, and then ended up under pounds of prosthetics, rubber makeup, and this character was created. And the idea is that he doesn't really experience anything viscerally. He learns things exponentially because he's a computer program and just lives inside a screen.
Well, that certainly describes what the character was. What Mr. Frewer doesn't describe is just how big Max Headroom became. For a while there, Max Headroom was as popular as a character can get.
Sure, I was always popular, but this, wow, it's really weird.
Not only did Max Headroom pitch artists for the record company, he also had his own television show. Yes, a human acting like a computer had his own TV series. Kind of the exact opposite of today, where computers act like humans, huh? Remember when I mentioned that I would explain the hijacker's antics with a Pepsi can? Well, Max Headroom was also a spokesperson for Coca-Cola.
Hi, Max Headroom here. More people prefer the new refreshing taste of Coke over Pepsi. It's true. More people are, as we Cokeologists say, catching the wave.
The FCC and the FBI were immediately brought in to investigate the incidents in Chicago. Despite their efforts, the perpetrators were never identified, and the technology used to carry out the hijack remains a subject of speculation.
Even in a medium that is no stranger to bizarre moments, these were truly bizarre.
Take some pretty sophisticated microwave equipment operating in the broadcast auxiliary frequency bands and a significant amount of power.
The incidents are now under investigation by the FCC and the FBI. All early evidence points to someone with a broadcasting background.
Someone who really knows the business and microwave in general.
And while it may have been a stunt, it is not treated as a joke. Chicago's video pirate could face a jail sentence and fines.
Several theories emerged, ranging from disgruntled employees to technologically skilled pranksters. Some even speculated that the hijackers had inside knowledge of the station's operations.
Somebody wants to get attention, what do? They go break into a television broadcast just to get attention, like throwing a brick through your window, so to speak. It's not too bright, really.
Some thought it was a lot of fun. So what did you think about the whole thing?
Very, very funny.
Over the years, the mystery of the Max Headroom incident has continued to captivate the public. Numerous amateur sleuths and internet forums have attempted to uncover the identity of the hackers, but the case remains unsolved. Just after this incident, an FCC official commented that the perpetrators face a maximum fine of $10,000 and up to a year in prison. The then 5-year statute of limitations ran out in 1992. So, at this point, anyone still attempting to figure out who pulled off the airwaves takeover is doing so for the glory of it all. To date, no one has ever claimed responsibility for the Chicago stunt. It looks as if it may remain a mystery forever. At the very least, the Max Headroom Interruption exposed some security holes in broadcast systems across the U.S. Maybe that was their intention all along. As always, if you have any theories or insights into this case, or if there's a case you'd like us to look into, get in touch. Again, the links to videos of both Chicago incidents are provided in the description. Be sure to visit our Instagram page for photos and footage. Check out our other episodes and stay tuned for more perplexing and unsolved crime mysteries. Liking and following the Solve Crimes podcast helps us out quite a bit. Thank you in advance.